Make a move, make it matter.
Yeah.
Forget the rest.
How y'all feeling, baby?
You're rocking with the best radio station on the planet. SDM Live Unplugged.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Bree.
And I'm Princess.
And this is Women Who Shine, where we highlight women, entrepreneurs who are shining every Wednesday. And today we have a very special guest, Jasmine Rivers, who is in the film industry. So today's theme is women in film. And Jasmine Rivers is actually the founder and head writer of Hidden Treasures Film Screenwriting Label. She is also a mother of two and a creative writer with 15 years of experience in blogging and short film writing. Fiction writing, my bad. So Jasmine is with us today. We're going to discuss overcoming fear, relationships, the power of networking, and more. So let's get into it, y'all. So Jasmine, how are you today?
I am blessed and highly favored.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. So let's talk a little bit about how you actually got started. 15 years of experience in fiction writing and blogging is a very long time. So let's talk a little bit about that.
Goodness. I started writing when I was a teen. It was my outlet. I didn't have a lot of friends, really reclusive, and that was just my way of expressing myself. I dealt with depression. My dad sent me to, therapy for a bit, but that didn't work for me. So I just kind of took to writing as a way to, get everything out there. I wasn't comfortable with sharing my feelings and thoughts with people. So I created blogs just to, express myself and make myself feel better about life and situations. And I did that through high school and started fiction writing. I love telling stories, random stories. I used to sit there in the basement. We had this room, it's like filled with butterflies on the wall, and I would just sit down there and daydream and just come up with random stories and then just tell them over to myself and just write them down. So that's kind of where the short fiction blog came from. And I graduated from Wayne County Community College, and I took an advanced English course, and that's where my love for writing for TV came into play, and it's kind of where I made my transition. But I've always been a writer at heart, no matter what I was doing.
Awesome. So actually, Jasmine founded Hidden Treasure Films and Screenwriting Label in 2001. And I am super excited to say that I am actually a part of that. I am one of her creative writers. And we recently did a short horror film, which was super dope, called Stranded. It is on YouTube. It should be at 2,000 views at this point. Yeah. So make sure you guys check that out. So funny but short story. I actually met Jasmine on Facebook through Ambria Curry. Shout out to Ambria. She had a repost from you, and you were looking for writers at the time for the screenwriting label. And I reached out to Jasmine right away because it really caught my attention. And after a short period of time, I jumped on board with Jasmine. And then literally 15, 20 minutes later, you called me and told me, hey, I know someone who is looking for a production assistant. She's super dope, and I want you to reach out to her. And I said, okay. Literally started working with Renika, and it literally just kind of created this huge networking opportunity. So let's talk about the power of networking and how important that is, because literally that one Facebook post connected me with you and connected me with Renika, and now connected me with Casino, who is here with us today. So
it's awesome. Dope. Again, shout out to Renika. Raw with Renika. She's a dope person, dope filmmaker. She's like the focal point of everything. And I am where I am, hugely in part thanks to her and Kamal and others. But yeah, I started the screenwriting label August 11th. I was literally just sitting there frustrated. I'm like, okay, I know I have this love for writing for TV, but what do I do? I wasn't working. I didn't have any money. I didn't know anybody in the industry. Didn't have any resources. I'm like, okay, so Lord, you brought this idea to me. I know you're gonna have to fund it somehow. So I reached out to Renika because she was the only one I knew in the industry at that time, and she gave me a ton of advice. And she was like, Jasmine, if I, don't tell you anything else, I'm going to tell you to network. She was like, a lot of people get to where they are, reach their levels of success by networking and building solid relationships. So while we were on the phone, it's so funny. She was like, well, one of my friends, Jada, is working on the film, and Kamal, and I don't think they have an assistant. Let me reach out and see right quick. So she put me on hold, and she literally texted him, and he hit her back immediately, like, yep, he needs somebody. So the next day I was on set helping them with that production, and it really just snowballed from there. Like, me and Kamal are close. I love Jada to death. I support everything that they do. And from there, I worked on another production with Kamal and Renika, her last film, A Family Divided, which I'm looking forward to coming out next year. But some of the actors, the younger actors that were on her film, were stars in our horror film.
Yes.
And I was always afraid, you know, when you talk about fear, I was always afraid, like, you know, God, I don't have the money and nobody's going to want to work. And I'm always big. I want to be able to pay people for the work that they do. I never want to be looked at as that person that just tries to get over on people.
Yeah.
But, you know, Renika got me together, like, networking. Everybody is looking, you know, to find their space in the industry. You know, trade services. You screenwrite for somebody or edit for somebody and they'll act or whatever the case may be. So that's kind of how that worked out. And it really, really just snowballed. I've built amazing relationships with people, and I just can't wait for, you know, the future of the label.
Yes, yes. Speaking about overcoming fear, Princess.
So I'm more of a mental health background, right? So when you talk about like overcoming fear, starting out, like a lot of entrepreneurs starting out have that fear. Like, it's the hesitation, the procrastination. What would you say like pushed you to like step out there, like to overcome that fear mentally?
I prayed. I'm not going to lie. I sat there on the 11th. I created the label. I bought the domain. I created my website. I created my merch line.
Okay.
I created everything that day. And I looked at I was talking to my son. My son was playing football at the time. And I'm like, I know I have this vision of the future that I want for them. And at some point, I just have to do it. Like, you know, I can't live in fear forever. It's not going to get me anywhere. So I literally prayed, and obviously it was God, because I just took off, you know what I mean? Without a thought. So, for me, it just happened.
I love it. Yeah.
Yeah, she really did make everything in one day. When she listen, the most professional person I've ever met. She was like, I have your contract. Here's the website. Go ahead and make your email. Like, it was just like boom, bam, and everything was just like happening so fast. And I was like, oh my God, okay, this is happening. Like, we're really doing this. So very, very dope. So let's talk a little bit about relationships. Let's get a little juicy or get a little professional.
Well, I'm single.
Okay. Oh, maybe not.
Single-ish?
Why she said is she really single?
Single-ish? Or?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
But I'll say this. I've been single for almost 7 years.
Okay.
And it was hard for me to want to date because I was so goal-oriented and focused on my dreams.
For sure.
And, you know, I was talking to Renika like, well, how? And one of my idols is Shonda Rhimes, and I know she's not married. And I know I read an interview that she did where she was like, well, she travels so much with being a showrunner and screenwriter. She doesn't have time to date. She doesn't have time to do this. So I had my mind focused on, okay, Jazz, don't date. Don't go here. Don't do this. Just focus on writing. Focus on your goals and focus on your dreams. But at the end of the day, for me, that doesn't bring all of the happiness that I'm looking for.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm like, life is about balance. I feel like if you have the person that's there to support you, and pour into your dreams, then, hey, you can do both.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Do you feel that is it? How do I word this without offending anyone? Is it difficult to date someone who is not an entrepreneur, like who's not in the same industry as you?
Good question.
I think that's all a matter of perspective. When I was trading, I was in a network marketing company, and one of the things that they would constantly say is it is extremely difficult, almost impossible to date somebody who's not an entrepreneur because they won't understand the drive. They won't understand that you don't have a 9 to 5 and then you go home.
Yeah.
They're going to be late hours. You're going to have to travel randomly. You might not be able to take your person with you. So I understand where that idea comes from, but it's just a matter of finding a person who just gets that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It makes sense totally. But it's not that way for everybody. So it just depends on the person you're with.
Yeah, it's a little difficult.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm curious to hear your thoughts, Princess, since you date a very, very busy individual.
Yes, so my husband,
And she's married. Yes.
Awesome.
newly married.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So my husband is an entrepreneur, and it's an adjustment, like mentally, for me, because I do work a 9 to 5. I had to the adjustment of time, like you said, like he doesn't work a 9 to 5, so his hours are different than my hours. Like he's more busy on the weekend when I want to hey, let's go to he can't. So what I started doing is I'm like, okay, well, it's not just his business, it's our business now. So I literally on the weekends I'm busy because I'm busy pouring into our business. So I think I heard somebody say this. I don't know if it was Dame Dash, but he was like, women, they say they want a certain lifestyle. They want a certain man. And if you get a certain man who is an entrepreneur, right? Sometimes he's not going to have time to be under you or, cuddle, whatever you want to do. So I literally just started adjusting my mindset. Okay, if you want a certain lifestyle, help him get to that point. Just like he helps you get to a point. So I think it's it's an adjustment. You have to find the right person. It has to be the right person. Yeah. Mentally, that's 100%. Willing to make that adjustment.
Yeah, the person I'm dating, I wasn't working, but I currently work a 9 to 5 on top of the label and everything else. And he works a 9 to 5. Okay. But one of the selling points, I guess, if you will, was, him actually pouring into me and helping with business ideas. And, he doesn't blow my phone up if I'm busy, if I'm writing, to check on me and try to figure out what I'm doing. And, he gives me my space to create and build my business, but he helps me. So, yeah.
That part, because as creators, we need that space to create. We definitely do. I love it. Oh, it's so much to talk about, Jasmine. You are a woman of many hats. There's so much to talk about.
I want to ask a question. Okay, so I have most of my friends that are males I went to school with, so I went to art school. Most of them are actors. So you got Arthur Cartwright.
Okay.
You have Mac Wells, he's been in films and stuff. I have never met a in-person person from the city that's a Black female filmmaker. So it's an honor. So I appreciate that.
That's awesome.
Yeah. When she told me about you, I was like, a screenwriter. Let me look her up. Let me see what she about. But being a Black filmmaker, how do you see, what would you say to young girls? Because they don't teach this. That's a whole nother topic. But they don't teach screenwriting in schools. They don't teach a lot of arts in schools anymore. What would you say, to a young girl, who may want to go into filmmaking or go into screenwriting? What would you say to her?
One, just do it. Okay, so I will say my inspiration for the label came from, I follow this young lady. Her name is Nakia Stevens.
Okay. I
don't know if she'll ever hear this podcast, but she's from Atlanta. She lives in LA now. She's younger than I am, mid-late 20s. And she has what she calls the first ever screenwriting label. Wow. And I followed her for years. And again, that fear, she put out that she was looking for new writers. They didn't have to be in the area. They could be, anywhere. And I hadn't written a script yet. Wow. But I was like, taking that leap of faith. So I said, okay, you know what? I'm going to apply. I'm going to create a script right quick. And I knew it was a hot mess. But I wrote the script. I sent it to her. I sent her everything she needed. And of course, I wasn't chosen, which was understandable, right? I didn't have the experience that the people that she chose had. But that just kind of set things in motion for me. And one thing I will say to people who are younger looking to get into this space is find people that look like you, that are doing the same thing, and follow them. You know what I mean? Pay attention to their stories, what they're doing, and then just do it, and then build relationships. Just randomly reach out to people. I randomly reached out to her. We had a conversation. It didn't go, obviously, where I wanted it to because I was new. But again, the networking aspect, not living and operating in fear, is just to do it. And one thing I understand, it's not really taught in schools. Google University, YouTube University, as far as learning to write a script, that's where I learned everything. They have master class. It's just a matter of how bad you want it. We can make excuses for ourselves and say it's not a school, which is accurate. Yeah. But are we going to allow that to deter us, or are we going to figure it out and find a way? So find people, try to build relationships with those people, and then just figure it out.
That's cool.
Yes. So what's coming for Hidden Treasures? Like, what is next?
Oh, Lord. A lot of things. I am currently working on another short film, and then me, Bree, and our other writer, Ashante, will be working on a web series. So we're going to be, formulating that, and that's going to come next year as well. But the whole goal of the label is to create opportunities for other people. The biggest thing that I find is in the industry, especially here in the city, and I'm brand new, so I'm not in the middle. I'm not deeply rooted. But just from what I've seen thus far, a lot of times it's always about who you know, and those opportunities don't always come for a lot of people. I've noticed in a lot of films, folks use the same actors and actresses, and you can say, well, these people don't audition, but I see people audition, and, it almost is what it is. So it's like, if those opportunities aren't there for you, or you feel like you're not getting chosen, then create opportunities for yourself, which is what I did for this label. And the goal is to create opportunities for other writers. Like with Bree, like you said, we hadn't signed a contract. We hadn't nothing. We hadn't really gone into detail. Right. And then I plugged her into Renika, and that snowballed into something different. But the goal is to really help other people shine and grow with whatever their endeavors are. So we have a lot of things coming, films. My goal is for the label more so short films, but features might be coming soon, but we definitely have a lot more content for 2022.
And the short film was good, by the way.
Awesome, thank you. You know what? Yeah. We sat there, and it's so funny. One thing I have to learn is, like, I don't know if maybe I have a bit of OCD, but it's like, oh my God, things have to be so right. So when things didn't turn out for the way Bree first wrote the script, it's like, oh my God, what do we do? So that had to be rewritten, but it turned out really well. And one thing I will say for people just starting in this industry is understand that there are going to be a lot of mishaps. A lot of things are going to go wrong. It's just a matter of how you handle them. But yeah, I'm just excited. Let me start ranting.
Yes. And the merchandise. Like, she created this dope screenwriting book for screenwriters, and it literally is like a guide. Yeah. So I'm so excited to write in mine. So very excited. And it's leopard print. We have shirts, we have hoodies.
We have all kind of stuff. I literally was up all night on the 11th. I designed like 5 shirts and hoodies, and I've designed cell phone cases and mugs and bags and all kind of stuff, because I don't ever want to, like I said, I wasn't working, and there aren't grants. There aren't many grants. I haven't come across any grants. If anybody knows of some, please send them our way. But for this specific industry,
I would definitely do that.
So, the Screenwriting Notebook and the merchandise line was a way to kind of generate income for us to, to fund our projects. So
yes, absolutely. And how can people purchase this? I know, but
the notebook itself, you can find on Amazon. My Screenwriting Notebook. Or you can search with my name, Jasmine A.J. Rivers. It's only $10, but it's awesome. We have, I think, 7 cover designs from Simple.
One.
Yeah, that's
that
one's
now
pretty.
I want that one. I like the leopard, but I like the road.
But it's awesome. It allows you to jot down notes, break down your acts. There's a section for a to-do list, list of production, crew, cast, etc., things of that nature. Like, it's a really dope book. And I really searched on Amazon because I was looking for one for myself. I'm like, okay, I don't like the plain notebooks. I need something a little bit more structured. Yeah. And I couldn't find one, so I created one. So we have
How
that.
How dope is that?
That is
you
dope.
saying it like it's nothing.
Right. And she did it all in one day.
Listen, y'all. I thought I knew how to write until I met Jasmine. And she was like, no, we have to do it like this. And I'm like, oh my God, okay. I thought I was... because I write so much and it's not formatted, and Jasmine knows the correct format for the scripts, and it's like, okay, now it makes sense. Now it's clear to read. Now if you get actors, they know, you know, what emotions and like expressions to give. It's not just about writing, but it's about the format as well. So that's super dope. Super, super dope. So we want to end this show with a positive affirmation. Do you have one for us, Jasmine?
Oh goodness, I didn't write one down. But I did want to talk about the power of positive affirmations. That's helped me along my journey because it gets discouraging, especially as a Black woman in the industry. One thing that, you know, I hear, make sure you're not viewed as the B word, you know, we're not cussing, but you know, you never want to be viewed as that. You never want to be viewed as difficult. So one thing I tell myself, I get up every morning, I say my affirmations. I am powerful. I am strong. I am independent. I am creative. I am blessed. Opportunities are flowing through me. Things of that nature. And you can go on YouTube and find different meditation affirmations. You can Google them. But I literally have a whiteboard in my bedroom on the wall that I write down different affirmations throughout the week, and I just recite them to myself, because the more you tell yourself that, the more you're going to believe it, the more you're going to act in that power.
Right.
So it doesn't matter, you know, where your career is headed, where it is right now, what struggles you're facing. As long as you keep that positivity at the forefront of your mind, everything is going to work out the way you expect it to.
Yes, setting those intentions. Because let me tell y'all, today was rough.
Yes, it was.
And it's all my fault, because I woke up and I set the intentions of, I don't want to go in the office today. Because I got to go in I have a 9 to 5 too, unfortunately. But
Not for long.
Not for long. I have to go in the office 2 days a week. And today I was like, I am not feeling it. I do not want to go. I don't want to do this. And it was just so much negativity coming out of my mouth. And literally, as I took a foot out of the door, everything was going wrong, to a point where I had to pull over, and I'm like, go home. Just go home. Like, because it can't get no worse than this. And I went home, and I had to clear my head. And I was like, you know what? It's all your fault. You set these negative intentions for the day. But when you set those positive intentions, you say, I'm going to have a great day, regardless of what's going to happen. Like, you just kind of go.
Absolutely. And you know what? That doesn't mean things won't happen.
Yeah.
Right.
But how you respond to it, how you feel about it is what changes.
For sure. For sure. Yes. All about perspective.
Positive.
Yes.
Well, I just want to say, I am going to get a shirt, even though I'm not a filmmaker, but I seen on the website you have one that
even though I'm not a
says
filmmaker.
dope writer. So I'm going to get that one.
Yes. Because believe it or not, Princess is a writer too.
Oh,
I'm an author. I write different stuff, but yeah, if I learn it,
It's still a writer.
I dope creative.
Well, Jasmine, how can people stay in touch with you? How can they follow you, support you, all of that?
Also, we have a GoFundMe when it comes to, you know, funding the business.
Yes.
We want to be able to give everybody awesome content. And my pockets, you know, aren't that long yet. So I do have a GoFundMe that's posted on my Instagram bio. My Instagram is AJ__writer. And you can also follow the label Hidden Treasure Films. With an underscore at the end. I'm on Facebook, Jasmine AJ Rivers. We're on Twitter, same thing. And then our website is hiddentreasurefilms.com. You can find all of our social handles, the GoFundMe, the merchandise line, the notebook, everything is on there. And then our YouTube, of course, Hidden Treasure Films.
Yes, we
You guys watch our short film Stranded. It's awesome. It was super creative and fun. So just show us some love with that.
Please show us some love. Show Jasmine some love as well. Thank you so much for coming on. This was like such an honor.
She's our first guest.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, our very first guest. Woo!
So cool.
Yes. Thank you guys for listening. And stay tuned.